Week 2, run 1 done. I didn't do much filming on the run today. I just kind of dialed into getting it done, seeing how I feel, running at base heart rate, because I've done so much on the trails the last couple of weeks. I wasn't really sure what my base heart rate pace would be. So today my sort of 140 beats per minute was 11 was an 11-minute mile and 18 seconds. So that's kind of like a starting point, week 2, because that's the only road running I've done since I started marathon training last week. So that kind of gives me an idea of where I'm at from a sort of base level with the 140 beats per minute heart rate, which would be zone 2 for me, but kind of in the middle of zone 2. Like the top end of zone 2 for me would be 150 beats per minute. But I try not to do that. I try to run at around the 140 beats per minute. So that's not too bad. I'd like that to be my goal marathon pace, but I'm not sure. Let's see what the next few weeks, you never really know. So some weeks you might have the same heart rate but be running a lot slower. It just depends how fatigued you are as well. I thought I was quite fatigued today because I did strength training yesterday and my legs were aching, but actually I felt okay when I got out there and they didn't hurt like to run. So that's the only thing. It's sort of balancing the strength training, but because I'm in the early weeks of my training and I'm doing a 16-week program and I'm second week in, then it's okay to do strength training now. I think as my mileage gets higher and higher, probably sort of February, March, I might have to scale back that strength training and sort of think about when I'm doing that. But yeah, week 2, run 1 completed. Happy with it, felt strong, felt really good. Tomorrow I'm run leading at club, so that'll be my run 2, and I'm run leading a group 4 miles at 11.5-minute mile. I might do a little bit extra either side of that as well. But yeah, so I'll be keeping it pretty much base heart rate again. Obviously it also depends on hills. So today I had 2 quite steep hills in that, but I managed to sort of maintain the pace and keep my heart rate at the right level. So yeah, it does factor. If you're running flat all the time, it's very different if you do have hills thrown in. So it's worth kind of bearing that in mind. I know a lot of people run to effort as well. I really find the running to effort thing quite difficult to gauge. I quite like using heart rate as a kind of a really good measure, because you know what your heart rate normally is. So when you're at a certain level, you know whether you're pushing too hard or not. And I find that a much easier way of gauging effort than just in your head how you feel, because some days it feels easier than others. It's just weird. I don't know. I think you could, gauging by effort as an inexperienced runner, potentially push too hard, which is why I quite like the heart rate, because it kind of just keeps you in check. And obviously you'll do some harder efforts where you're going to be at threshold and you know your heart rate's going to be like 160 or something. But yeah, for me, I find it quite a good gauge. And obviously everyone's heart rate is different as well. So I'm just going by what Garmin's worked out is right for me. So I'm kind of trusting in my Garmin and hoping that is actually right, but it kind of sounds right, so I think it is. And it does adjust things. So like my lactic threshold went down on Sunday when I did a really slow trail run, but then today when I've kind of ran normally and on road, it's adjusted, like readjusted it again back to normal. So it's quite interesting to see those sort of adaptations, because obviously running on different surfaces can kind of affect the marathon time it predicts and things like that as well. Because Sunday was like just slippery mud and like super, like just you can't even compare it to running on a road at all. So yeah, I'm liking the training so far, and I'm feeling really confident and positive about it. But obviously I've got another 14 weeks to go, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, so I've got 5 miles tomorrow, and then a rest day on Thursday, and then Friday I'll do some strength training, and I've got hill repeats in the evening, and then Saturday a rest day, and then Sunday I've got 15 miles to do, which I'm going to do on the road this week, just to kind of dial in a bit to where I'm at. Again, sort of keeping my heart rate at that kind of base level of 140 beats per minute. I'm kind of like straight out the shower, no makeup on. Yeah, I think this is my life for the next 16 weeks. It's like rushing around. I fitted it into lunch hour, quickly did my run, showered, dry my hair, no makeup on or anything. So I probably look a complete mess, but I will try and do filming on each run, but it's not always easy. Like the ones where it's like interval sessions, it's quite difficult because you do need to just dial in. So I might just do a little intro to what I'm doing and maybe a clip on the run if I can. Today was a bit tricky, but yeah, I'll see what I can do. Active recovery, week 2, lunchtime walk just to get some steps in while I'm not doing any exercise today apart from a bit of stretching. But I sit at a desk all day, so I do have to move. Just about to head to my long run for Sunday. I'm going to try out different fueling techniques today. So I'm going to use the Salt Sticks electrolytes, 1 every hour. I put it into AI with my weight and the pace I'd be running to see how many I should take an hour, because I think before I've taken too many of these for my size. And I'm also going to use energy gels. So I'm going to use these 1 every 45 minutes and see how I get on. So that's this combo, and I think I'm probably going to be out there about 3 hours. I've got a 15-mile run. Hopefully it'll be 3 hours and not too much longer, but it's fairly flat and I'm going to the beach. So I'm just going to dial in and see what I can do today. The other thing I'm doing today is I'm using my Tempest 2, Saucony Tempest 2 trainers, which I have only been using for speed. I want to see what they're like for a longer distance. They're really bouncy and comfortable. They've got quite a high spongy bit here. See what happens. Bar 4, gel 1. Running up here. A bit of a rainy beach run today. Yay! Ten miles.